much. Look at the New York Times article. Look how double standard. Jewish people have been nothing but a source of light in this world. It's time to stop being embarrassed and try to appease our enemies because it doesn't work. I do want to share with you a little bit of a different perspective on many things. First of all, I want to talk about the pre-October 7th Hillel. I wore many different hats in the tech world, you know, journalist and a blogger and an entrepreneur and a marketer. And so I had a very different kind of perspective on what was going on in Israel, what is going on in Israel in terms of tech. And it really is biblical. It is really miraculous what's going on in Israel in terms of innovation, but specifically the type of innovation that is making the world a better place in a very real way. I had an interview that I did many, many years ago with a man named Dr. Rick Klausner. Dr. Rick Klausner was the director of the National Cancer Institute, and he was the man that every president of the United States came to with a blank check and said, cure cancer. I said to him, Dr. Klausner, we have drones, we have self-driving cars, we have artificial intelligence. Why have we not cracked cancer? And I thought he was going to say to me what everyone says when you ask that question, that there's no curing cancer. It's different types of cancer, and it's all. But he surprised me, and he said, we have. I said, what do you mean we have? He said, we have finally, after 100 years of research, learned how to take a person's immune system to kill his own cancer. And he said, there are types of cancer, and he named leukemia and lymphoma and a couple of others, that we have cured. So I asked him the obvious question, how could that be? There are people dying of leukemia and lymphoma. So he said, a lot of these treatments are not yet FDA approved, and they're not yet available to the public, but we have medically, scientifically cured these types of cancer, which blew my mind. But what he said next blew my mind even more. He started to list the different leading treatments and cancer cures. And out of the list of maybe 40 that he mentioned, about 28 of them were developed in the state of Israel. But people don't know this. What's our narrative? What is our narrative? Look at any Jewish influencer online, all amazing people who have dedicated their lives to defending the Jewish people, and I love them all. But what are they yelling about all day long? The world hates us so much. Yeah, you know what? The world hates you, so maybe stop yelling about the fact that the world hates you because no one's listening. Right? And I'm not saying we shouldn't raise awareness for anti-Semitism, but maybe use our resources for something a little more positive. Oh, look at the New York Times article. Look how double standard. Okay, yeah, there's a double standard. Is that the best use of our time and resources? I don't think it is. So what should be our narrative? In the beginning of the war, the Jewish people have been nothing but a source of light in this world in a very real way. In a very real way. We talked about cancer research, but who's first when there's a natural disaster in the world? Who's the first on scene? Israel. The Jewish people are a real source of light, and it's time to own that. It's time to stop being embarrassed and try to appease our enemies because it doesn't work, in case you haven't noticed. It doesn't work. And I gotta say, the script keeps repeating itself, right? I mean, we all know that history repeats itself, so if you wanna know what's gonna happen, open a history book. It's the same thing every time. And I don't mean to be an alarmist here, a little bit. But what happens in every empire? The empire grows and achieves world domination, and then it throws morality out the window. It puts people to fight to their death in the Colosseum, right? And then what happens? It comes after the messengers of morality in the world. They can't come after the creator of morality, so what do? They come after, you kill FedEx, you don't get your package, right? We're FedEx. We're bringing morality. So they come after us, and we, unfortunately, in every generation, we think, hey, don't come after us, Greeks. We're just like you, Greeks. We're just like you, Romans, right? We think we can, and they're like, you're not just like us. And we have a tool that we've developed to show you that you're not just like us. It's called anti-Semitism. What's the point of me posting on Facebook and my social media? I'm speaking to my echo chamber, right? We've all heard that, that excuse. And the reason I say it's an excuse is because it's simply false. Just technically speaking, and this is such an important point, the way social media works is if you post something and one of your friends shares it, you just echoed your echo chamber. You just accessed their friends and their followers. So every single one of us has a job. And if you don't know what your job is, then yes, open your Facebook and share the truth. Because all it takes is one person to share that, and you just exited your echo chamber, and you just accessed people whose minds you could actually change. So don't be discouraged. Don't think that you don't have the ability to have an impact. Every single one of us has the ability, using our keyboard, really. It sounds funny, but it's the truth. With all due respect to my X amount of followers, whatever the number is does not even correlate in any way to 1.5 billion impressions. So how did I reach that? It's not because I have X amount of followers. It's because the content is meaningful and is impactful and is accurate. So all it takes is one person to share your truth, and you could really have an impact. So my message to everyone here is twofold. First of all, we need to embrace it. We're in pain, we're in suffering, and that's not going anywhere. But we will dance again. And the words Am Yisrael Chai that we all love, those aren't just words. It's not just a phrase. It's a historical reality. We have to continue doing what we're doing. We have to each do our part. And the worst thing that we can do, and it's easy to fall into this, is to sit on our phones just reading social media and being devastated. It's easy to do because there's so much bad news. But let's not forget that that's how media works. They want you to see the bad news because that's what sells, right? The good news doesn't sell. So take everything with a grain of salt. Understand that at the end of the day, we will win this. There are miracles happening every single day. We just need to open our eyes and see them. And we need to break the pattern of history of not seeing the miracles.